The NFL is back, and FanDuel's got everything you need to play your game. Whether you're all about same-game parlays,
3-leg, 4-leg, or 5-leg. I'm going 4 legs in honor of my dog, Ralph. He has 4 legs.
maybe live betting is your thing.
Wasn't so sure about the QB going in, but now his arm is speaking to me, and it's whispering, lock it in.
Or do your own thing with customized lines on FanDuel your way.
Moneyline is good, but my lines are better.
FanDuel lets you play your game any way you want. And right now, new customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus in present and select states. 18 plus in Kentucky and Wyoming. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more, or visit tremfyaradio.com.
It's that time once again. Ladies, gentlemen, fanatics of all ages, I say that somberly as we once again enter the offseason for the Phillies a lot sooner than we hoped, a lot sooner than we expected, a lot sooner than anybody around the team certainly expected. There were expectations on this team to go far, to go deep after securing the bye, the number 2 seed in the National League, drawing the Dodgers in a 5-game series. And the Phillies lost in 4 games. They dropped it to the Dodgers, the defending champs, 3-1. After showing some signs of life in the first game in LA, game 3, hitting some home runs, guys looking like they were coming around. Once again, the pitching was the story until the fielding became the story at the very end of game 4, when the Dodgers walked off the Phillies in rather painful fashion. I don't really need to tell you much more. The Phillies are at home. They are done for the year. And ahead of them are some questions. You face that every offseason. But this offseason feels different. And it's not just different because the names are different. Sure, Kyle Schwarber is a free agent. Ranger Suarez is a free agent. JT Realmuto is a free agent, among others. And those are big names with big decisions that this team has to make. More than that, though, this feels like the end of something, not necessarily the end of an era, but a transition into something new, because this team has kept the same core relatively intact for the last 3-4 years. And it's resulted in playoff exits. Now, it's hard to judge a team by what they do in the regular season versus what they do in the playoffs, especially for a Phillies team that has won 95 and 96 games in the regular season in back-to-back years. That's really impressive. Their manager, who was announced earlier today, Monday, will be retained for the 2026 season, has the 3rd best winning percentage in the entire sport since he took over. Wins almost 60% of his games, .580 winning percentage. And yet none of it has really ever come together at the right time. And so that brings us where we are again. It is mid-October. Monday, October 13th, 2025, and the Philly season is over. They are watching the Dodgers and the Brewers duke it out in the National League Championship Series for the right to face either the Seattle Mariners, who have taken a 2-0 series lead, over the Toronto Blue Jays over on the American League side. All of that said, let's look ahead a little bit. And to do that with me, to talk me through it, To keep me grounded, as always, is my co-host. He is Phillies beat writer for The Athletic. He is home from Los Angeles. He is Matt Gelb. Matt, hello. Welcome in. We're doing this again earlier than I think we expected to.
Well, we should have done it a couple days ago, but I apologize. It was my fault. My gift for coming home was a case of a hand, foot, and mouth in my house. And let me tell you, I think that might be. I don't have it, but it might be more painful for my son than the Phillies losing in 11 innings.
Yeah. Every parent out there just winced. Yes,
but here we are, and I think you summed it up very well. I think it was the end of something, and you could feel that in the clubhouse after the game. I mean, as soon as the shock wore off, and it was an odd place to be. It was I felt uncomfortable in there, not because it was my failure or my disappointment, because it wasn't. It was an uncomfortable place to be because you truly felt the pain. I think you felt guys, really had this raw emotion, and I think it was a different feeling than it was a year ago, not because of who they lost to or how they lost, just that they thought that this was a better effort put forth by them, and I can't disagree with that. There are areas where you can quibble, and I think we will in the next however long we talk. But certainly it felt like the end of something. That said, Paul, and we're going to go into this, I don't know that it's really the end of an era. Like, I think we might be overplaying that a bit. And I think that, the first step in that, bringing back Rob Thomson as manager for the 2026 season, is rooted in a lot of logic. And that might cause some people to roll their eyes while they're listening to this. But I really can't find fault in the decision. And I'm on the record, and we discussed this. I think the bunt decision in Game 2 was not the right decision. Did it cost them the series? I don't know. Probably not. If they get out of the 11th inning in Game 4, do they win the game? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't know. I don't know.
Who knows? Right.
I mean, they would have been bringing Blake Trine, and the Phillies probably would have been going to Dave Robertson. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, coin flip still. But I think games 3 and 4, where it went way better for the manager. And I think that most of the decisions, if not all, except for the bunt, I think were sound, and they just backfired every single time. The pitching plan in Game 3 was, we were like stunned by the idea, and it worked.
Yep.
I think they played more aggressively in both games. I think going to Luzardo in extra innings in Game 4, totally the right move. Intentionally walking Ohtani, totally right move.
Totally fine.
Don't let him beat you.
Yep. Fine.
Do you know that John Duran, of all the hitters he has faced in his major league career, do you know how many different hitters he's allowed 2 home runs to in his career?
I would guess Shohei is one.
One of them, and it's Shohei Ohtani.
Okay. Yeah.
And the bases loaded walk was the first of his career. I mean, you're playing the percentages there, and you got a 1 in 100 outcome.
And Mookie Betts is a good hitter,
moment.
Like,
well,
it's not like one of the Alex Call walks is what happened with the bases. I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
No, that's fine. You're right. I think the moves were rooted in logic, but more than anything, like, bringing Thomson back is a vote of confidence in their process on the ground level. And I know nobody likes to hear that word. It's a loaded word. And I agree with that. I mean, like, all you had to see today, and, like, you're not going to hang the banner for this, but, like, was Andrew Friedman, president of baseball operations for the Los Angeles Dodgers, saying that the Phillies' plan against Ohtani was the most impressive execution against a hitter he's ever seen. And I don't think he's wrong. I mean, like, they pitched unbelievably in that series, and they had a plan for every game and every pitcher, and it was pretty good. Matt Strahm missed a spot by 17 inches to Teoscar Hernandez. If he doesn't, the series looks very different. And I don't know. I mean, like, hitting wise, they had a better offense, I thought, this year than they did a year ago. They made adjustments that they wanted them to make, their hitters, and it was a more well-rounded offense. And still, you had 10 different guys who had double-digit home runs. if you want to have larger questions about why doesn't this show up in October, I think they're all valid. I don't know where that's going to lead you though. Can you even come up with a coherent answer for that? Other than I think the Dodgers pitching in the NLDS was about as good as you're ever going to see. It was not even as good as the Phillies and still amazingly good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those series that's just going to, in some ways, it does frustrate me almost as much as the Mets series from last year. A little bit less because the Dodgers are really good, like you've just said. But I'm going to come back to this series page, this series summaries page, like on Baseball Reference every once in a while, I'm sure, over the years, like I do with just about every other series. And I'm going to look at this and I'm going to see that the Phillies offense had an OPS, a team OPS, 100 points higher than the Dodgers. 100 point. I mean, it was 657. They weren't hitting the cover off the ball, really, except for game 3. The Dodgers as a team had a 557 OPS in 4 games. And their pitching was extraordinary for the most part.
Yeah.
The only one who really showed, all right, 2 showed humanity were Kershaw, who was left out there to die, and Blake Trinan. And that was basically it. I mean, Yamamoto gave up the rocket shot to Schwarber. He still looked good to me. Like, okay. And he
I mean, if we're being honest, the series was probably won by the fact that Roki Sasaki came out. I wouldn't say of nowhere. Obviously, we all know who Roki Sasaki is, but I mean, he was in hiding for most of the season and, really turned into an important force in that series.
Yeah. He was a huge part of it. And the Dodgers got some hits and some breaks when they needed them, and the Phillies did not get quite as many of those. And so now they are the ones at home. It's a different version of the story that we had last year, where you wonder how much you need to wait one series against a whole regular season, right?
Okay, so answer that question yourself. Because now it's 2 years in a row.
It is 2 years in a row, but it's 8 games against 324.
Yes.
I mean, the 8 games suck, but that's what we're talking about here. And I think you got to bring most of it back again.
There you go.
I mean, look, it's going to look different. It's going to look different in that even if they bring back, I think Schwarber and Real Muto right now are the guys who we think among the, big 3, right, including Suarez, are probably going to be back. Well, probably is even a little bit loaded, but have the best chance of being back. But their new deals and their new situation is going to position them differently within the team of the next couple of years. We can already see JT, he had his biggest offensive slide of his career this year, but he's still very good defensively. Schwarber, on the other hand, is a couple years younger than Real Muto, but he's DH only. He's going to be in his mid-30s. You need to count on him having another couple years like 25.
Crazy to say, the ABS will help JT a little bit.
Yeah.
Because framing is where he's, regressed, I think a decent amount. And obviously it's not full ABS, but I do think that some of those borderline ones that maybe he should frame better. Maybe the system's going to help him out in 2020.
Yeah. I still want to go back and take a, magnifying glass to some of these lower in the zone pitches that he just didn't do. Anyway, I'm getting off
and
track.
The box on TV is not. Yeah.
The box on TV is not.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Matt, yes, I there needs
there. You made it.
Yeah. There needs to be there needs to be different work around the edges, but the bulk of it.
Well, I think it can be more than around the edges. I mean, I think there's an entire unit that you could gut and redo and rethink.
Okay, yeah.
The outfield. It's time.
So, all right, let's think about this then. Let's take a look at the outfield first as the area most ripe for change on this team, looking at this coming off season. It's been kind of a weird situation for a couple of years now. Guys without, regular homes or their typical homes, bringing in someone like Max Kepler to play a almost completely new position, continuing to stick with Nick Castellanos in the worst offensive season of his career, and fairly public spats about that. Brandon Marsh having a very good year, but continuing to be miscast as a center fielder. Bringing in a spark plug at the trade deadline in Harrison Bader, who has an option that he will decline and is no sure thing to come back, even if the Phillies deem that he is a great fit for coming back. Not to mention the plug and play guys of Otto Kemp. What do we make of Johan Rojas? What is Weston Wilson's future? It's
all this should be exactly. I'm tired. We're tired. You're tired. I'm tired. They're tired. these questions that they're asking,
Yeah.
it's time to start asking different questions in the outfield, I think.
Mm-hmm. And this goes beyond, not just talking about moving on from Nick Castellanos, which we expect to happen. Like, we're talking about deeper, more significant changes.
You could tell me that every single outfielder who played inning for the Phillies this year wouldn't be back in 2026, and I would say, yeah, right.
Hard to deny that.
I mean,
man, for different reasons, but yeah, Kepler being a free agent, I doubt he's back. I don't think he's coming back. Castellanos is going to be removed from the roster in some way.
I believe so. Yes.
Brandon Marsh, I still do
he's
like.
A tough one. I know
the hard one. I still like Brandon Marsh, but miscast as a center fielder.
Correct.
Does still struggle significantly against most left-handed pitching.
Correct.
He could be one of the few major league guys that is appealing to another team that could get the Phillies something that they need in another spot on their roster, namely in
correct,
the bullpen or backing up their rotation, which is still good, but configured differently for next year. There are things to look out for there. It is probably not going to be the bastion of the team. Probably they got good players, but it's not. I don't think it's going to carry the 2026 team like it did this team. Brandon Marsh is just one of those guys who is movable for that reason. And then you get to some of the other guys and, they didn't really show you, Otto Kemp, terrific story. Just fine on offense.
He'll be optionable next year. He'll probably be doing the same thing where he comes up and down, as a bench guy. Yeah.
Johan, we know Johan's story. It would have been nice to have him available to run in the division series for whatever that would have been worth and not have to. Well, anyway, I don't want to relitigate that series too much. It'll be around. And Weston Wilson, nice player, good to have around, but none of these guys right now really strike you as solid starting outfielder, apart from Marsh, who might almost need to be moved, depending on what the needs shake out to be.
I think the best commentary on their continued outfield circus, I guess, is that Bader getting hurt in the DS was so cataclysmic to the outfield situation.
It wrecked house. Yeah.
Right. And we're talking about Harrison Bader, who, with all respect, was a really fine player for them for 2 months. But we are talking about a guy who has been with 6 organizations now. He's 31 years old. He was having a career season, a fine player, but really, a competent outfielder who can hit and field his position. And remember, we were talking about the deadline about how the Phillies could really use an outfielder who both hit and fielded his position, because really they did not have a single one of those. And just getting one of those, look what it did. It was almost
man.
Okay, so maybe they should try to get 2 outfielders next year who can hit and field their position. Is that crazy?
When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
The NFL is back, and FanDuel's got everything you need to play your game, from same-game parlays to live betting. Right now, new customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. 21 plus in present and select states. 18 plus in Kentucky and Wyoming. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Call today to learn more about our great offers. Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
On its face, no. I think the difficulty that they're going to face is the weak free agent market.
Yes,
it's
right.
bad.
Well, you have to be creative. I mean, this is, you got to use whatever you can do to find. You know, we're watching Jorge Polanco tear up this ALCS.
Absolutely,
tear up the player, also the DS too. I mean, he was a guy who was the Mariners declined an option on him, and he ended up going back to the Mariners on a pretty cheap deal. I think it was $7.5 million. You never know. Like, you just don't know. You need to do a better job evaluating. I mean, they thought that Max Kepler was that guy, but had some flashes, but was mostly replacement level.
Yeah.
They need to do better than that. And to me, I'm singling out the outfield simply because I think it is their best area primed for change. I think it is their most flexible area. Given the construction of the roster, I think there is the most upside, the biggest delta, as Gabe Kapler would say, in going from what they have currently rostered in their outfield to whatever improvement they can find.
Yeah.
That's why I've singled out the outfield there.
Well, the big name
certainly
there
could be changes elsewhere, but
oh yeah, but at least there's one internal name that makes sense to fill in, and that, of course, is Justin Crawford.
Yeah, he's going to be part of the plan.
Yes, and that's good. I mean, we haven't.
Again, we don't know what he is. And we don't know what Crawford is.
We don't know.
But the idea that he could be, a solid, everyday player in the outfield, or at least above replacement level in the outfield as a rookie, I don't think that's that far fetched. He does some things that they don't do in the rest of the lineup. And if you say you're going to bat him ninth and play him in either center or left field, depending on the situation, like, okay, I'll buy that. Like, he's young, it's some new juice. And that's one, spot that hypothetically you've solved.
Yeah. So Matt, I don't mean to bounce around much here, but I
please
do
bounce around.
Yeah, I do want to go back to Rob Thomson for just a second because
I have more thoughts on that. So go ahead.
Yeah. His situation continues to be interesting with, regards to how long he's under contract for. And of course, the thing looming over everybody's moves and everybody's thoughts around the game is how 2026 is the last season under the current collective bargaining agreement. That's sure to be a rock fight between the two sides to get something agreed to there and have baseball in 27 and beyond. But the Phillies came out quickly within the first couple of days and said, Rob Thomson's going to be back. What did not come with that is any sort of contract extension or amendment or anything. He is under contract through 2026. And right now, that is it. Now, we know that there was some talk, he said in retrospect after the 22 season, that if things didn't go the way they had, that he would have retired, or he was seriously considering retirement. There's a couple different ways this can go, Matt, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts about Rob Thomson's situation coming back for this year, being right now a lame duck manager, which is not something clubs typically do with their managers, and what it all means for the parts of the core that are returning and just this team for 2026.
Right. So, I mean, I think the biggest difference between this October's post-mortem and last October's post-mortem is that you might not see a contract extension for Rob Thomson. Remember, they didn't just decide to bring him back after last year's division series loss to the Mets. They extended his contract by a year, and that was done to avoid any kind of, doubt or questions about his status. And, extending his contract for a year, that doesn't preclude a team from just deciding, hey, like middle of this past year, if things weren't going well, they could have fired him. It's just money. I don't know that they'll extend him this time. And I don't think that that's the worst thing. Yes, it will create some questions. It will create some doubt. I do think there'll be some changes on the coaching staff, not a ton, and also not real big ones.
Okay.
But I think operating on the last year of his contract, which is something that other managers have done, Aaron Boone to name one, it's not the worst idea. It's not the worst dynamic, because I think, if anything, it might force Thomson to think about things or go back to the way things were when he first took over as interim manager. And look, I think there is a lot at play here, Paul. I mean, this is an experienced clubhouse, a clubhouse that is very much set in its ways, a clubhouse that the personalities can be tough, I think, to manage, the different egos. And I think Thomson has faced some challenges in that, some real challenges. And I think that he has been willing to defer to some of the bigger stars or names in certain situations, because maybe he was worried that it could affect his job status if he did push back. And maybe now, if he is on a 1-year deal, and maybe this is it, maybe there is a little more, maybe there is a different dynamic in terms of how Thomson is aligned, with management, or has the backing of management, maybe to ruffle more feathers. I don't know. That's just a thought that has popped in my head, because I do think it's a real thing. It is, I think, a really tight-knit group, a solid group of guys. I do think there were a lot of challenges inherent in the sort of personalities that he's managing.
Well, I guess that's something that you can expect to come with the territory when you're talking about a number of guys who are high profile within the game, not just the money they're making, but like who actually carry a good amount of cachet in the game. They are considered star to superstar level. They have national exposure, are household names as far as that goes in the sport. And having a number of those guys within the same room, I'm sure not just from the field manager's perspective, but from the other players' perspective, takes some managing. It takes, takes some doing to navigate that day in, day out, because those are big personalities. If you're somebody who is on, the saying meek or timid is unfair, but on the more reserved side, then you might feel like you're somebody on the edges for that. I don't know. I'm getting into too much speculation here. The point is that there are a lot of
this job is all about managing people. I mean, certainly there's a tactical element to it, no doubt, but largely it's about managing your people.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I think bringing Rob Thomson back is a really good idea, because I feel like he's done a really good job of that.
Well, I just think the alternative, whatever the alternative would have been, I don't know what you would have accomplished by cleaning house right now, given that you're not going to clean house of the roster.
Yeah.
And given that dynamic, like you said, regarding the potential work stoppage that does loom here.
This is something I've made the mistake of in the past, not really giving something that I don't know enough about enough credit in a situation like this. I remember back around the time where, I was wondering what Charlie Manuel was doing later in his tenure, where it seemed like he still didn't have, a grasp of the double switch and all this stuff. It's been so long, I can't really even get into particular details of my gripes. I was young and stupid and wanted to be loud, but I didn't consider enough at the time how much of the job is managing the people, how much of the job is making sure everybody's heads are in the game for as much of the 162 as you possibly can get, which cannot possibly, you could have a group of the nicest guys in the world. It cannot be easy to keep all these guys motivated for a grind of a year where you are barely off, unless you're hurt throughout the course of a year. You have guys who are, on the one hand, set in their ways and making $100-300 million, while you have other guys at, $800,000 who are trying to make their mark and get their payday lined up, squeezing in playing time here and there. Guys talking about roles and all of this. There's a lot going on there. And I know I never gave that the attention that it probably should have gotten. So I've tried to do that here. Not being inside, I can only know so much, sure. But it sure feels like Rob Thomson does a good job of keeping that part of things at worst barely above the surface. When the Castellanos spat after the Miami thing happened earlier this year, I was actually a little bit stunned because that was the first time it really seemed like anything had slipped out about that. I may be misremembering something. I could be forgetting it, but that was a high profile crack in the armor. And it was surprising to me to see that because I'm like, what? That just hasn't happened. Even with the earlier exits, the team has not showed that. So I think that's a point in Thomson's favor, actually. I know things between him and Castellanos were probably poor by the end of the year. It was probably not a very good relationship. But that's the only one I know about. That's the only one where I could see anything really being like having a lot of friction. And I think that's a point in his favor, especially with the players and the names and the profiles and all the things that the market has to count for something, the attention of this team. So yes, I'm fully on board with bringing him back for 26. And I feel like that was the right move to make.
I just think the alternatives were not appealing for this franchise in this moment in time, given everything we know.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're talking about if you fire the manager, you're going to have to fire everybody. And that's a lot. Because I think it would be tough to replace some people. Sure. And I think this, again, plays this larger idea that you are going to have to run a lot of this back, but you're not going to have to run everything back, Paul. And nor should you. And this comes to the point that, and a friend who works for another team pointed this out to me today, and it was a really salient observation, I thought. And he said, ultimately, in the end, what did the Phillies in is that they just simply did not do enough in the offseason in the front office. And it still caught up to them despite the trades they made at the deadline. And he's not wrong. If you look at the roster that they took into, last year's division series against the Mets and compare it to the roster that ended up being used for the majority of the division series against the Dodgers, it's not a lot of differences. There's not.
Man. Yeah, well,
I mean, there's not.
Yeah.
And I think that is not to explain why they've now exited in the same round to back-to-back years, because I think we've come to the agreement that the two series were very different.
Yeah.
The personnel was rather similar. I mean, you replace Wheeler with Luzardo, you replace Estevez with Duran, you replace Hoffman with Robertson, I guess. And the personnel doesn't look all that different. I mean, ultimately, in Game 4 of the division series, the Phillies closer gave up a big run or runs with the bases loaded against the other team's shortstop. Did I have that right? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Estevez gave up 4. Duran only gave up 1.
Yeah, yes.
But it's a big run, nonetheless.
And on the offensive side, the only one you're swapping out is Rojas for Kepler and Bader.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And now, a next-level moment from AT&T Business. Say you've sent out a gigantic shipment of pillows, and they need to be there in time for International Sleep Day. You've got AT&T 5G, so you're fully confident. But the vendor isn't responding, and International Sleep Day is tomorrow. Luckily, AT&T 5G lets you deal with any issues with ease, so the pillows will get delivered and everyone can sleep soundly, especially you. AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and device. Coverage not available everywhere. Learn more at att.com/5G network.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying... just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
Yeah,
and there needs to be a little more change. There needs to be Dave Dombrowski needs to have a better offseason than he did last offseason. But to this idea though about it being the end of something, I do think it is, because I think slowly, quietly, in hidden ways, Paul, I want you to think about who you would consider to be the 4 or 5 most important players on this roster now compared to a year ago at this time, and I'm wondering if you come up with the same results that I do to show what is changing or what has changed kind of overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you I'm going to have at least 2 different, and it's probably going to be more, even if they're incumbents or otherwise. But the 5 that I've come up with for this are Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo at the top of the rotation. Chris is what, the 3rd best left-handed pitcher in the sport now? Left-handed. Would
he have been on your top 5 important Phillies at the end of the division series last year? No. Yeah. Okay.
And he's a giant.
He's
now.
number 1, and he is clearly number 1, and you and I are in full agreement there.
Yeah, I mean, after that things get a little hazy, but yes, he's number 1 with a bullet. Luzardo has emerged as
might be number 2.
Yeah, he's
he might be number 2.
He's significant, and he's a little bit younger than Chris. Like, he's got years ahead of him. He's a big part of this now.
Okay, so you're on to the same path I'm on here.
Yeah, I would have Joan Duran because
he's in there somewhere.
He's got 2 more years of arbitration.
And how old is he?
27, right? 28.
Yes, 27.
This is where things start to deviate a little bit. I think on the offensive side, Trey Turner is now the most important returning offensive player. And even though he will technically be a free agent, I think Kyle Schwarber is my 5th name on that list, because he simply did what nobody else on the offense could do. And that's hit a lot of home runs. He had 56 home runs, in second place at 30 fewer. Bryce Harper had 27. And that was, I mean, I don't know if I could ignore that enough to put somebody ahead of him. So that would be my 5: Chris, Luzardo, Joan Duran, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, we're about the same spot. I'd put Bryce in there still, but you've made the point that I wanted you to make, and I promised people that all we discussed was, I said to Paul, think about who would be on your list here.
Yes.
I didn't give him my answers or what I was thinking.
There was no context here. Yes.
I want to give you, where do you think the Phillies ranked in Fangraphs war for all pitchers 28 or younger in the year 2025? All pitchers 28 or younger
for the full season.
Yes. 4th in baseball. They had the fourth most F-WAR from pitchers 28 or younger in the major leagues last year.
So was that Chris and Luzardo doing all that work?
And Duran and Kerkering.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I figured Duran wasn't here long enough to make that big of an impact, but okay.
It's like a one win with the Phillies in 2 months.
Yeah. Okay.
I think slowly that the end has come. The end for the certain... It's not the end for guys' time on their roster. It's the end for them having the most importance. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola.
Yeah.
JT Realmuto.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos, who was important to this thing at some point.
Yeah.
Brandon Marsh, Alec Boehm. their importance, I think, has gone down, and they're either going to be replaced or they've already been replaced. And on the pitching side, to me, the next competitive Phillies team, the core is formed here, and it's Sanchez and Luzardo.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
they're on.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
then if you're talking about, and this is wish casting because we don't know what these guys are going to be in 2026.
I love
but
doing
I can
this.
say with wish casting is one of your favorite things.
I do.
I'm watching the Dodgers rally here against Quinn Priester. They got bases loaded, 1 out.
Mhm.
I will say with high certainty that all three of Andrew Painter, Justin Crawford, and Aiden Miller play in the major leagues in 2026. Now, whether they are effective, productive, regular major leaguers, I cannot tell you that because no one can. I do believe, though, that one of those guys, one out of the three, I think will be a major contributor, or at least a productive contributor in 2026. Is that,
they need that.
Fair to say?
Well, more than that, they need that. They need one
do.
of these guys to break out soon and early. I mean, there's ramping up that needs to happen, and we should afford them some patience. Absolutely. All three of those guys are very young still.
What I'm saying is that this is already happening. This is happening,
Yes.
and it can happen at the same time
Yes.
as them spending money and trying to retain the guys they want to retain.
That's how the best organizations do it. They balance that.
The best organizations could develop a few more relievers.
Well, a few. All right, they're not up on the volume and the quantity yet, but that idea is there, right?
Do you see? But is this too Pollyannish? Is this idea that I'm presenting?
No.
Is this silly? Is this far fetched?
Absolutely not. I mean, I would like to lessen the load on the three younger guys, all of whom have not.
Like I just said, I'm saying one out of the three will be a real contributor in 26.
Yeah. And I'll take that into meaning a positive contributor, like not just playing a lot and being a zero war player. Yeah, like actually contributing. Yes, absolutely. And they need that. It is a little bit of wish casting because that is borderline essential. They need to find a way to get the next core really firmed up. I agree with you.
Sorry.
React podcast.
Sal Frelick almost has made an unbelievable catch.
Yeah, so Chris, Jesus, Joan makes total sense for the next 4 years if you can keep all those guys together. On the offensive side, I don't know. And I would like to see, maybe it's Justin Crawford, maybe it's Aiden Miller. Right now, the big contract guys are all on the other side of 30. They all need to be supplemented more appropriately. They need to be built around differently. They need to be supported differently in a lineup. It's a different looking group of guys now. The names are the same, but we're a couple of years in for some of these guys now, and it's going to take a little bit of different set of maneuvers to make this work. So I would love to see one of the two bats make that happen and give, Painter a little more of a patient runway. If he struggles in his first year, then okay, I can
well,
feel
the runway is given by the fact that, there are a bunch of pitchers ahead of him in the depth chart. Even if he is, even if they need him to be a starter in the major leagues next year, he doesn't need to be the guy, and he's not going to be the guy. I mean, I think that's the idea here: is if you bring Painter in and he's your fourth guy or fifth guy. I don't know if you're watching this. Like, this is an insane play that just happened in this game. Are you not watching this?
I don't have it on, but I'm looking at the game day summary of it. Yeah. Max Muncy flies into a double.
I'll let you. Well, it's inaccurate. It's not. That's. I'm sorry. Painter does not need to be a guy.
Nope.
The guy.
Nope.
And we don't know a lot about Zach Wheeler for next season, but we expect him to contribute. Aaron Nola just gave you, the worst season he's had. And sure, like, is that okay? Like, does that mean that's it, that he's done? I don't think so, but certainly the expectations are lower moving forward. But if he's your fifth starter, okay. I think the rise of Sanchez and Luzardo, especially in this playoffs. I thought Luzardo showed the Phillies quite a bit. And I think we knew a lot about Sanchez already. I think we know just even more. Luzardo, though, I think we saw a lot. I think we saw a lot from this guy.
He's a dude. He's a true dude. Yep, absolutely.
So I think that slow hidden transition of power, it's happened. And that doesn't lessen the need to have, star caliber performances from Harper and Turner, and whether you re-sign Schwarber. I mean, I don't know. It is still important, but you're not going to live and die by those guys. I don't know. I mean, I think that they can accomplish two things at once, but it does require Dave Dombrowski to have a better offseason. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he needs to have a better offseason, and it can't just be re-signing Schwarber and Real Muto.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be more than that. To me, the outfield, as we discussed, and I think the bullpen was still a man or two short in the postseason. And I guess the Dodgers are proving to us that doesn't matter.
Like, just put all your other starters out there. Yeah, why not?
But the Phillies, that was the Phillies' plan before Wheeler got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a plan in which, like, Luzardo wasn't starting in the playoffs. Like, that was a real plan. Like, in the middle of August.
Sure.
I don't think Luzardo would have been starting for the Phillies in the postseason had it began then. Of course, it didn't. But
yeah,
I think the bullpen could use some work. I think they could do a better job of getting volume, creating competition for the spring and for the roster, which is something they did not do at all last offseason. It was a major misstep. And we said it in April. We could, you can look back on it now and be like, yes, very clearly they were short. I think some of it will come internally. Probably the one guy in the system that we're likely not talking enough about as a potential contributor for 2026 as relievers, Alex McFarland.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I think he'll go on the 40-man, and I do think he'll, he could pitch for them next year. He throws hard. He's right-handed. Probably doesn't throw enough strikes, but
had surgery in 23, 24. He had surgery within the last couple of years.
Yeah. 2 years ago. So I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of onus on the president of baseball operations to do something.
Well, and it's got to be creative, because you look at the free agent market.
I haven't even looked at the free agent market yet.
It stinks. Man, it's bad.
But this is why. Okay, but how about reliever wise? Is there enough guys there where you can spin a wheel?
Well, yeah. Well, yes. I
okay,
think
so that's why maybe you take. Yeah, I mean that's.
It's not a super impressive group, but there are a number of guys here who can absolutely fill out a bullpen. For me, there aren't many we're not talking about big capital C closers being available up and down the list, but there are guys on this list who you can absolutely see as part of a contending bullpen. For one familiar example, Sir Anthony's going to be a free agent. He's still good. He's not a star reliever, but he is very competent and capable. Now, I know that is not the answer to having a better offseason alone, but that could be one of a series of moves. That's just one example, one familiar name.
You're just trying to play the hits.
Hey, that's a good hit. That's a good hit. Anyway, they need more than that. They need more than one guy. There are interesting guys too. People you could take a flyer on. Think along the lines of Michael Kopech.
No thanks.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how I feel about all these guys up and down the you want to take a flyer on Devin Williams? I mean,
sure.
There are options. Tyler Rogers for a completely different look, literally and figuratively. Like that's something. Yeah, there are a lot of relievers that are going to be looking for jobs, and the Phillies are going to have spots. They should have competition. They should.
I mean, it was one of their biggest missteps. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, are we like, are we talking ourselves into something that is, that is just silly, that is dumbing, that is just doubling down on a bad strategy that has not worked in October. But I don't know that I see another path for them. And I'm talking about redoing your entire outfield. I don't know.
My faith right now is in the move that I haven't thought of yet. And what qualifies for that is Starlin Caba and Amarian Boyd for Jesus Luzardo late in the offseason.
Sure.
I had in no way thought of that move, and it turns out to be arguably the most consequential move of the offseason. Right now, I don't know what that move is. I kind of feel like I need to wait it out and see how the markets go and see what develops, because,
well, of course,
it's just.
But in your mind, like, are you
like the Kyle Tucker thing doesn't seem to make sense to me. I would like him, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, absent that, where do I turn? I don't really know for a big difference maker that isn't already part of the incumbent 25 Phillies. You know what I mean?
If you had to pick one, who are you picking, Schwarber or Real Muto?
Wow. It's actually a really hard question at this point, even though they were on completely different sides of the offensive performance spectrum.
I just can't wait for you to watch this play. I'm sorry, I've been like distracted this whole time. The most insane play I think I've ever seen on a Major League Baseball field.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I'll get to it. So let me answer this quickly. I think I lean Schwarber, but I'm not super convinced of that answer, because I feel like JT is so important to their program that I can live with his declining offense into and beyond his mid-30s if he can keep the defensive aspect of it going. That's a big if, getting into your late 30s as a catcher, but it's kind of a coin flip to me right now. I lean Schwarber, though.
What would you rather, Schwarber on a 5-year deal or Real Muto on a 3-year deal?
I think that swings it back the other way, and I think it's JT on the 3-year deal.
Okay.
I don't know if I
don't think they'd rather either one. Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's a path. I don't know that Kyle Schwarber is getting a 5-year offer from anyone in the market. I think he'd like 5 years. I think that's where he's going to start in negotiations with teams this offseason. That's where he should start. And I'm sure JT will be starting with 3, maybe 4, but probably 3. And I don't know that either gets him. Maybe JT gets a 3-year offer. I don't know. That seems crazy.
The tougher question I don't want to ask myself this offseason is, how long can Bryce Harper stay on the field? Both just like I don't like, he is so beat up by all these injuries that have compiled over the years. His back bothering him, getting his hand broken on a pitch, the Tommy John surgery, it just all this, all this stuff is just adding up. And it seemed like this season this season was different for him. Just watching him, it was just different. The performance, yes, 844 OPS, 129 OPS plus. I mean, if that's a down year for him, okay, yeah, that's Bryce Harper. But watching him, just if something was different, and I hope it wasn't that this season was a grind for him, because we're halfway through his deal. There are years left on this, and right now it doesn't seem to be a thought of moving him back to the outfield. So he would be first base or DH only moving forward. Bringing Kyle back means you lock down that position too. You got to hope Harper can stay on the field and stay available. And as he continues to age with, the injury history that he has, that becomes a little bit more of a question.
Well, how much more time can we talk in this podcast? Because do you have 6 hours? Because here we are. Where are we at?
People would like this.
What mark are we at right now? We're 48 and a half minutes in, and we finally mentioned this guy who I think...
oh, man.
A lot still revolves around Bryce Harper.
Yeah, it does.
And because of that, it is reasonable to feel uneasy about the whole thing.
And I do. For the first time, I do.
Right, because you're at the point now where you're wondering, and I'm not gonna try to speak for you, but you're wondering, I'm guessing, and most of our listeners, I'm sure, are wondering, was this a down year or was this the beginning of it? And I think everyone has tried to play therapist with him from afar this year, and I think it's totally justified because what you were seeing was odd and at times confusing, not just performance-wise, but just the way he looked and the way he was talking.
Yes.
And I wish I had a good answer for you there, but I don't. And the only answer I have is that it is a concerning thing within the organization. Because I don't think they know either. And everything still revolves around this guy. And this year it didn't. And because of that, it did feel incomplete at many times, especially in October.
Yeah.
And this is why all this stuff we just discussed for the last almost 50 minutes matters less if he is not a huge part of it. Now, that said, Paul, I mean, the way his contract was structured, it's not like it's a back-breaking, he's only making $5 million more in AAV than Nick Castellanos is.
Right.
I mean, like, it's not like it's a back-breaking thing. It certainly would be a harmful thing if he, and again, we're talking about a guy who, what did he rank, like 9th in the National League in OPS this year?
Yeah, it was still a good year. That's the crazy thing, right?
Like, but it never felt like Bryce. And it wasn't, again, just the production. It was everything that surrounded the production. It was everything that you were watching. And I think that is reasonable to be a little concerned about for really the first time ever, I think, since joining the Phillies. Just a lot of weird things. And I cannot explain it.
I'm glad I'm not alone in feeling like that, because you get into such murky waters when you start talking about these things that you can't directly attribute to anything they've said or anything that has happened to them, or, that you can see could be correlation equals causation, that kind of crap. Right. It's just me watching the games through my TV. I was unfortunately not able to make it out to a game at CBP this year, so I couldn't watch any of this firsthand. And even then, one game would not have been enough. But watching all these games that I did on TV, the best way I can describe it is it just felt different. It was a different experience. This year stood out in a different way from the 6 that preceded it. And I don't know why. I don't know if I ever will know why. It doesn't sound like that's very likely. But it does put the question into my mind about, okay, how long is this going to work? He's got 6 years left. He's got 6 years and like 130 whatever $1 million, 140. I don't know. I'm just doing quick math. He's got 6 years left. No, it's a little bit more than that. I'm underselling it. He's got that much time left. He's signed through 2031. You don't figure he's going to be traded or dealt anytime soon, so you need him to make it work. And I just don't know what needs to change to not be weird. Like this whole observation is strange to me because I can't point to anything. The performance was still good, even if it was down. He ended the year healthy, we think. I don't know what else to point to other than, to me, my eyeballs, it looked strange. It did.
I mean, if you're using the AAV, it's like 6 and 152.
Okay, 150. All right, yeah.
In real money, I think it's about that, but maybe a little more.
Yeah,
but for AAV purposes, that's what it is. 6 and 152.
Yeah, because some of these years are 27, and then it goes down to.
Would he get that? What would free agent Bryce Harper get this offseason?
I've wondered that
more than that, right?
I wonder that about Turner too. Oh yeah, he would have made more than that every year since he signed this deal, and that's still true today.
But even right now, like coming off this year,
yep. Even right now,
does free agent Bryce Harper get more than 6 times?
Yep, 6 times 25. Yes.
25.4 is the AAV basically.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he does.
You're right. Yeah. Kind of funny to think about that way, right?
It is. The whole the whole thing, with the passage of time, the whole thing is just, it takes on all these different lives. And I guess you kind of knew that was going to happen when he got signed, age 26, 13-year deal. You're like, oh man, what is this thing going to look like in 13 years? Well, here we are a little more than halfway through it, and it looks a little weird. I mean, it's been cool. He's given us lots of awesome moments. He will live on forever for what he did in the 22 NLCS. And, for the walk-off grand slam against the Cubs in his first year, like all these things throughout the years. He has given this team, us as fans, me as part of the fan base, a lot. We're now getting into that point where the questions are starting to trickle in, though. Part of that is because of the team exiting the playoffs when they did. Part of that is him, what he's done and how he's looked doing it. It's a weird spot to be in. I wish it was still a couple years away from being discussed, but I think the time is approaching where I need to start worrying about this a little bit more, because it's going to be more impactful to how this team can be constructed with him at its center.
He turns 30. He turns 33 this week. And that's still like relatively young, but he's been doing this for so long that the mileage feels extra.
Even during this season, it did not feel like his team for the first time in the course of this contract. This felt like Kyle Schwarber's team this year. And
that mattered? Do you think that mattered to Bryce Harper?
I don't know. And that's not something I can know unless I'm in his head. I don't know how he is dealing with the baseball player mortality of getting into his mid-30s and possibly already feeling his skills start to decline. He is a 2-time MVP who has been the focal point of baseball for 15 years. If he is starting to slip and succumb to Father Time, as all these guys do, I cannot fathom what it is like to have to grapple with that. The money helps, but there's only so much that the money can do when you are a competitor of that level and you have to face down something you cannot defeat. You can stave it off for a little while if you're lucky. You cannot defeat what is coming at him. And that's just a hard thing to deal with. And it matters to this team. It matters to what this offseason is going to look like.
A lot.
Yeah. So
this was always going to be the year. We talked about this, I feel like 2 years ago. 2026 was always going to be the year where ownership was going to have to really swallow it. Because it's the last year that you have Castellanos and Walker on the books. And 2 years ago, we kind of, could see, hey, by the end of these contracts, these guys might not be that meaningful to the construction of your club. Mm-hmm. That's $38 million in AAV. And I'm not saying it's dead money for 2026, but it's damn near close to
not very live.
Yeah. It's not very live. And so you're going to have to build your team around that in 2026. It cannot be used as an excuse for not making other moves, because you do know that it's just a 1-year penalty essentially, because it is coming off the books. So with that in mind, I do wonder how that will affect their free agent pursuits outside of the guys they want to re-sign. There's other money coming off the books, obviously, immediate money, $18.5 million that was given to Kepler and Romano.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you were paying Robertson, there's money. They have a decision to make on Jose Alvarado, which, if I had to guess, my guess is that they decline the option, but work out something for a little less money with some sort of option for 2027.
Okay.
Or they could just pick up the $9 million, which is the cost of doing business. There's money, but they're going to carry an even bigger payroll in 2026 than they did in 2025. I don't see any other way that they don't. What do you think?
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay, where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
This message comes from Ethos. Discover the modern way to get life insurance all online. Protect your family's future against the unexpected in minutes, not months. With Ethos, you could get up to $3 million in coverage without a medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Some policies are as low as $2 a day. Billed monthly. Get your free quote at ethos.com/podcast. That's ETHOS.com/podcast. Application times may vary. Rates may vary.
I have difficulty at this moment figuring out how they get there and make those payments to guys who are worth that money and make that come true. Because right now, what's the difference there? That's like $75 million. Even if you figure Schwarber and JT get 40-ish of that, Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have to see how this market unfolds, because maybe the reliever market goes crazy. Maybe Kyle Tucker's market collapses. Like, I don't know. But right now I struggle seeing how they spend $75 million for 26 on guys who would be worthwhile to spend $76 million on.
Where'd you get 75 from? What are you talking about?
So I'm looking right now at Fangraphs.
Oh, you're taking away like the I got you. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's just my rough look at
right.
it.
I don't think they're going to spend all of the Castellanos and Walker money this offseason.
Yeah.
Knowing that it comes off the books after this year. No. I don't think they'll spend all of it, but I think that they're going to have to eat it for a year, carry a really, really high payroll in 2026. And again, we don't know what 2027 is going to look like for a lot of reasons, but I mean, we didn't even talk about Alec Boehm. He would make more than $10 million through arbitration.
He's going to be a free agent after next year. Right. We didn't even get to him. There's so much more happening.
Are you bringing him back? Are you non-tendering him?
For 26? No, but I also can't give him an extension because he's not. I don't think he's somebody you build around. Like it's just.
I literally just asked you if you're non-tendering him. I'm definitely not giving him an extension.
Well, yeah. Matt, it's an offseason that
he took some great at bats in the LDS.
Yes, he did, and just didn't quite have enough strength to get a couple of those balls over the wall. Which is a shame. A lot of that series was a shame. Not all, just on Alec Boehm. Anyway, and we speaking of that, we didn't even talk about poor Ryan. Now he has to bounce back from what just happened at the end of that series. Do
you think he'll throw another pitch for the Phillies?
Yeah, I do, and I think.
Tough one.
You know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of Trent Grisham when he was with Milwaukee, made a brutal error in the outfield for Milwaukee in the playoffs against
DC.
Washington. Yeah.
Yep.
That was it. That was the last time he played for that team, the team that had drafted him, shipped him out. And he's turned into a nice player. He'll be a free agent this winter. But like, that's the kind of thing I think about. I'm like, oh man, a crushing moment. And if that's the way Kerkering's Phillies tenure ends, I would hate that. But at the same time, he has not shown himself to be an elite arm that you invest so heavily in, trying to get him past this. And you want to support him, absolutely, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy you cannot move on from, which is weird for a team that we just spent a good amount of time talking about being short in the bullpen. It's going to be a 25-year-old who throws, 98 with a slider from hell when he's right. And it's like, well, does he have a place here? Does he fit? And I hate that that's the conversation, but it is.
Well, yes. Correct. Everything you said, correct. Again, back to what we were discussing before, though, about being creative. And this is just a hypothetical. I'm just throwing out there. It's like, well, what if you use him to try to get yourself a young, a similar type service time age outfielder, and then you use money to try to sign relievers?
Yep.
That's one scenario.
That's a thought. Yes, it is.
I feel for the guy. It just tough. I mean, he made a mistake that he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life, and it's a shame that their collective failure really did fall to him, because it was a collective failure. The fact that he even was in that moment, that the game had gone on that long that they could not get a single hit, big hit. Tough. Tough.
It's very tough. That's the play that gets remembered from that series now. But the last play of any game or series, much less playoff, I'm talking about any game, but we'll look at the playoffs right now. The last play of any game or series, it's not the full reason for a win or a loss. You were just saying that. That kind of play is punctuation in a sentence. It is the last thing on the line. It ends the thought. It ends the string of words. But there are other words that came before it that build the whole sentence. The punctuation is it right there. That's how it's got to end. Okay. But it didn't get there on its own. It doesn't just kind of like live on the page as a period, devoid of other bits of a sentence structure. You know what I'm trying to say in this metaphor?
Not really.
Kerkering has to live with the added pain of everything else in that series leading to that point and putting him in that position. What happened in his play ended the game in the series. But it could have been avoided. And it always can be. It's not just this play that could have been avoided. It could always be different. But he just now has to live with that being such a dramatic. The second time ever a playoff series ends on an error. It's hard. I can't imagine that. You said it best. The humanistic part of this. He's got to live with it. Yeah. I could not. I would retreat into a hole all winter. I'd live under a blanket.
I was in that clubhouse, and it wasn't my failure. And like like I said earlier in this podcast, it is my job, and I was down there asking people questions about this and trying to document the scene and everything that happened. But like, I almost wanted to crawl into a hole for him because like it was tough to even rewatch the play, and I was rewatching it to try to get different angles and see what some guys were doing, as the play unfolded. It was, as a neutral observer, on a human level, very difficult to watch. And I wasn't involved in it, and it wasn't my failure.
Yeah. Matt, we're an hour and 5-6 minutes in.
The middle of this podcast is terrible because I'm just rambling to you because I was watching this insane play in this Brewers Dodgers game.
I'll go watch it. We got stuff to talk about this winter. Everyone out there. Everyone out there, if you've made it this far, first of all, thank you. You continue to kick ass. We will be around as things happen. It'll be the usual offseason of less frequent updates, but
I'll make Charlotte come on for me a few weeks.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. But yeah, we'll be with you. We're not going into hiding until, winter meetings and then spring training. We'll be around. Stay tuned to the usual feeds. You know where to find us. And it's another Another quick end to a playoff run that should have gone deeper. The talent was there. The execution was not. And now the Phillies have to stare down some yet more pressing and difficult questions about what the future of this team is going to look like. And in the meantime, I guess I'll just watch the NLCS and this crazy play that happened.
Freddie Freeman just did something he didn't do in the entire Phillies series. He hit a home run.
This one's it's gonna burn me for a little while, this series, even though it was a noble defeat to a worthy team. It just it's gonna gnaw at me. Okay, with that, there was no way this was going to end on all that happy of a note, but I think that's the one we gotta end it on. Matt, now is your time to.
He only had one extra base hit in 4 games against the Phillies. Did you know that?
I do now. Everybody on that team was suppressed. Pitching did a great job, man.
The pitching was amazing.
Pitching was tremendous. That was a great
they were
series.
Short, 1 or 2 guys in the bullpen.
God. It was such a good series. I hate to lose a series that was that good. Should have gone 5. Should have ended differently.
Oh, my last question will be this.
Okay.
And this is something we can revisit. Will your opinion of this Phillies season and how it ended change if the Dodgers do or don't just run their way to a World Series title, a consecutive World Series title, the first team to do it since the Yankees at the turn of the century?
No, it won't change.
It won't change.
No, I know the Phillies lost to it.
Like, what if the Dodgers? You know that they're an all-time great team. That's what you already know that. You don't.
I know the Dodgers are they're a tremendous collection of talent. It was on display in that series. Both sides played beautifully. Like, I know the Phillies offense was bad, but a lot of that was because of the Dodgers pitching. It was a classic series that should have gone 5 games to really truly be remembered as a classic.
I wish it would have been a 7-game series.
Oh man. That was so good. I hate to have lost it in 4 games, but it was such a good series that's how I just need to kind of think about it. And yes, that will remain no matter what the Dodgers do for the rest of their run. To me, that's how I will think of it.
Was there any point in Game 4? We didn't really talk that much. Was there any point in Game 4 where you thought it was coming back to Philly? Weird time to bring this up now, but I'm curious because I was kind of lost in that game. I mean, it was an all-time great game, I think. And I know it didn't end the way that Phillies fans wanted it to. For me, it's up there. Charlotte turned to me in the middle of the game. I think it was probably not the middle, but it was late. It was probably the 10th inning. And she's like, where does this rank in like games you've covered? And I was like, it's not 1 because I know what 1 is, and 1 will always be 1. And that's a game that you won't want me to talk about, but that's Game 5 of the 2011 NLDS. Is the best baseball game I'll ever cover in person. This is right there. It wasn't that, but it was pretty damn close. It was an unbelievable game.
To answer your question, if Duran had gotten out of the bases loaded situation,
sure,
I think the Phillies win that game 1-0.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
But that was it. As soon as the run walked in, I was completely in I don't know land.
I still think they did the right thing.
I do too. I
have bringing him in there. I think bring him in there too. Like that's have to.
Yep. I have no problem with that strategy. It just didn't work out.
Because if you lose the game pitching to their best player without your best reliever on the field, you're going to be both situations. You're
going to be Buck Showalter is what you're going to be.
Yeah.
Not using Zach Britton. Oh boy. All right. So there we go. That's the first episode of this offseason, the Phillies offseason.
Oh boy.
Man. We'll do this again? Question mark? Sometime soon.
There's so much to talk about.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So this was cathartic in his way.
You want to talk about 40-man roster protections and minor league free agents? What do you got?
Can we wait? Can we wait till November for that one? Thank you. Yeah. So thank you everybody for hanging in there with us throughout this season. Our 4th season of this show has come to an end.
You keep saying that we're the reasons why they're succeeding, but clearly we're the reason why they're progressing.
We're dragging them down, man. We've turned into the anchor. So our 4th season wraps up. We will stick with you.
Congrats.
Planning to go through 26. We'll see what the greater state of baseball looks like this time next year. But
you're giving us 1 year at least.
Yeah.
You saying we'll last another year?
That's all I can give any of us at any given time, right? Yeah. So there we go. Thank you, everybody, one more time for listening to us.
Seriously. Thank you
Yeah.
for reading. Thank you for following along. Thank you for listening. Cannot say how much it's appreciated, truly, because it is. It really is.
Yeah, you all rock. We love you, even if you annoy us sometimes, but especially if you don't annoy us. And we're grateful that you're around, really, truly, and sincerely. Thank you. So that'll wrap it. That's it for the 2025 season for us and for the Philadelphia Phillies. The offseason has just begun, and we'll be back with you again sometime soon. Again, keep watching the feeds, and we'll get back with you as news allows, and we'll continue to do our thing. If you want more, feel free to join us. We will chat during the offseason over on our Discord, which is available patreon.com/Phillies Therapy. Sign up through that. You can get an invite to the server and talk with us there. We would love to have you. I'll probably run a promotion or two for signups over the course of the offseason, so look out for those on the page as well. If you are curious but don't want to pay the full $5 a month, or have been thinking about an annual subscription but don't want to, plop down $50 right away, all right, your patience will probably be rewarded. Keep an eye out.
Probably not.
You will have the option to be rewarded for your patience. There we go. And in the meantime, that's that. We will catch you the next time we record, the next time we have a reason to chat. Dave Dombrowski everybody's the post-mortem press conference is later this week, but we will not have something right after that unless there's some major revelation. Just look for Matt. You're going to have a story on that. You're going to write something up about that, and we'll just kind of
sure
take
will.
it from there. Yeah.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Who?
To you.
Thank you. Me?
You. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for tolerating me.
I feel like that goes both ways.
we make it happen in our own weird way. This has turned into more of like a it's not just therapy for like people who listen, it's therapy for me, because I get to like actually be a little bit weird in my thoughts and be like, am I crazy for thinking about this?
Yeah.
Something that a normal therapist would just be like, why the hell are you talking to me about this? I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? This is where I can do that. It's wonderful. Nice little self-fulfilling prophecy. I have spent way too much time dragging this out. I'm going to do that right now.
Enough with your psychobabble.
Yeah, no, but thank you for listening, everybody. We love you. This has been Phillies Therapy, part of the Believe Podcast Network for the last time in the 2025 season. The offseason awaits, and we will be with you then. For Matt, I am Paul, and we will catch you next time.
Do Crohn's disease symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya guselkumab may help. At 12 weeks, rapid symptom remission was achieved in most patients taking Tremfya, and some experienced visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Explore what's possible and ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more, or visit tremfyaradio.com.
When the flu is keeping you up at night, don't try to tough it out. Knock out your flu symptoms with NyQuil Intense Flu. You got this. It provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep well through the night. NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching, fever, best sleep with a flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.